Grant was born Hiram Ulysses Grant on April 27, 1822, in Point Pleasant, Ohio. The representative who nominated Grant for West Point was not personally familiar with the young man and mistakenly put his name down as U.S. Grant, which earned him the nickname of Uncle Sam Grant, or Sam, among his fellow cadets. Grant graduated from West Point on July 1, 1843, ranking 21st in a class of 39. Grant married Julia Dent on August 22, 1848. They were devoted to each other and had 4 children together. Grant only drank heavily when he was separated from his wife and family. He was a devoted family man. During an Army assignment in Panama, an outbreak of cholera took place. Grant set up hospitals outdoors to care for the sick, and when help was hard to find, Grant himself did a great deal of the nursing. After a few unsuccessful civilian business ventures, Grant found himself back in the Army after the Civil War broke out. His tenacity and victories were applauded by the Northern press, and they used the initials U.S. to dub him Unconditional Surrender Grant. When an officer complained to Lincoln about Grant's drinking and suggested that he be replaced, Lincoln replied, "I can't spare the man, he fights." He rose to the rank of the General-in-Chief of the Armies of the United States, and eventually accepted Lee's surrender at Appomattox Courthouse. He allowed Lee to keep his family sword and arranged for 25,000 rations to be sent to the starving Confederate soldiers. John Wilkes Booth had planned on assassinating Grant, Secretary of State Seward, and Abraham Lincoln. While Booth was successful with Lincoln, Seward's attacker only managed to seriously injure Seward and his son. Grant and his wife had unexpectedly left Washington, D.C. that day because they longed to be home with their children, and unwittingly they foiled the plans of his would-be assassin. Grant was elected as the 18th President of the United States in 1868. He served 2 terms. While President, Grant was stopped once for speeding in his horse and buggy through the streets of Washington, D.C. When the policeman recognized him, he apologized and wanted to let him go, but Grant insisted on being ticketed. His presidency was plagued with scandals surrounding associates of his, though Grant himself was an honest man. Grant once said that 2 of the happiest days of his life were when he left West Point and when he left the presidency. Grant's health began to decline. He wrote his memoirs out of love for his wife. He hoped the sale of the book would provide her with a secure income after his passing. He died from throat cancer at the age of 63 in New York, and a memorial was built in that state in his honor. And as for the age-old question, who is buried in Grant's tomb? The technically correct answer is no one, since neither he nor his wife's coffins were ever interred underground.